sunshine, sleepyhead.
I'm not letting you go to work today.
Wait, what?
Everybody, listen up.
Welcome to The Drive.
Morning.
You're gonna talk.
Get on the phone at 339-1140.
Pretty awesome, huh?
Jump in on our text line at 441140.
Everyone is talking about it. You must know that.
The Drive starts now.
Our thanks to Eli Herskovich of the Action Network. Download their app. Brent Napear will join us in a couple minutes here. Videocast brought to you by Jiffy Lube Multi-Care. They've got you covered. You can go to KH2K.com. View that. Also powered by our guy Jay in the back, who is with us each and every day, along with Kyle Madsen. I'm Carmichael Dave. 1-800-920-1140 are your phone numbers, or is your phone number. Brought to you by Firewings. 21 different flavors to choose from. Firewings.com. Just wing it. Jiffy Lube also has our Jiffy Lube text line at 441140. Later on in the program, a stat about Steph Curry. We'll do that in the Cold Hard Facts segment. Steph Curry tied this person for most 60-foot plus three-point shots. You're not going to believe who he tied. ESPN signs a big deal with the UFC. I have thoughts on this. I have a lot of thoughts on this. I think this is a very interesting move, to say the least, by the UFC and ESPN. We'll talk about that. And the Raiders won an award. They literally won a real, actual award for the Khalil Mack trade. I'm not joking. It's not a bit. We'll tell you about that. Tomorrow on the program, if we have time, we're going to do our yearly, or should I say seasonally, traditional tour around ballparks, as I have some of the new foods being offered. For example, the Polish platter at Guaranteed Rate Field in Chicago. The White Sox offer up a dish that will feature a Vienna beef Polish kielbasa sausage. A Vienna beef Polish kielbasa sausage. That's tough. And the choice of 3 loaded baked potato or onion pierogies piled on top of sauerkraut, caramelized onions, and served with a homemade mustard sauce. God, that sounds good. But like many of these, also sounds like a whole lot of heartburn. Or hotburn. That's what they should call it. The Dodgers, here you go, Jay. The Dodgers,
excuse you,
are offering a 16.5-inch jalapeno cheddar sausage.
Yeah, we are.
Topped with grilled onions, roasted corn, and avocado relish, complete with sour cream.
I'd eat that.
I would too. Sour cream, underrated condiment.
Yeah,
sour cream
I
and
agree.
cream cheese both.
I agree.
Comerica Park, home of the Detroit Tigers, offering up the Coney Dog Egg Roll.
Oh, you don't even have to explain. I'm in.
An egg roll filled with hot dog,
Yep.
chili,
Mm-hmm.
and drizzled with mustard and diced onions.
Oh, baby.
Can I just say this?
Is that like diced hot dog? Shredded hot dog?
No, it's an egg roll filled with a hot dog.
With a hot dog in the middle. So
hot
it's
dog in the middle. It
so
rolled
it's
up
like
in the egg roll.
the egg roll wrapper wrapped around a hot dog.
Yeah, and it's filled with chili and the
Sure.
hot dog. Deep fried. Hold on, Kyle. I know you got to get Grant, but hold on. I just want one quick thought here. And drizzled with mustard and diced onions. Now, either Sports Illustrated got this wrong, or I think it was a fatal flaw in this. See, they have the mustard on top of the egg roll, and then they have a little side ramekin of mustard. I would like to find out if they screwed this up, because that's a flaw. It should be nacho cheese on top of the egg roll and served with a side of, think about it, the chili hot dog combination with mustard or the chili hot dog combination with cheese. And I'll show you real quick the picture.
Please.
It says it's mustard. Could that not also be, I suspect that's nacho cheese.
Maybe.
Our good friend and former president of the Sacramento Kings, Christopher Granger, is the head of all things Detroit sports out there. We're going to put in a phone call to him at the break. I need to find out, because if it is mustard, then they screwed up. Which goes better? You know, all those times you had a bowl of chili and you put some mustard on it. I understand the mustard goes with the hot dog, but if you're having a chili dog, Who puts mustard on it? Jay, do you put mustard on a chili dog?
Absolutely 100% no. That is a violation.
Thank you. That's 100% correct, Jay. You know, you're batting 1,000 since the Final Fantasy take, and I appreciate that. You don't put mustard on a chili dog. If you put anything on a chili dog, you put nacho cheese on a chili dog.
Yes, cheese and chili, mustard, ketchup.
Yes. No.
Nothing. No relish. Nothing.
Here are acceptable accoutrements for chili. All right, nacho cheese or cheese in general. Grated cheese actually is the preference. Maybe some diced onions on top, some fresh onions, even though the chili odds are has onions in it. That's fine. You don't put mustard on chili. You don't put cilantro on chili.
Like I said, ketchup, that's a violation.
Yeah, ketchup. I'll tell you something. I agree with you that ketchup is a violation on chili, but I'll say this. Ketchup is preferable than mustard because
Absolutely.
At least the base of chili is tomato.
That's a solid point. But again, you don't put
No,
ketchup
you don't.
on it.
If that item comes with mustard, I'm ordering it without mustard. Bottom line.
Exactly. I think we will find out during the break.
Also, they sprinkle the onion on top. That's strange to me because I feel like if it's a round thing, the onion's just gonna fall off.
It's scallions. It's the diced green onions.
Oh,
are
got it.
sprinkled.
Okay,
It's more for looks than anything else. Joining us right now, you want to talk about somebody who I will not have many food conversations with because, just quite frankly, and listen, opinions are opinions, and everybody has them, and that's your opinion. But I think Grant and I are together on a lot of things. I think if you ask me, I would say. DeMarcus Cousins and different food items are probably the things we've had the most separating opinions on, and I actually think we're a lot closer on DeMarcus than we are on food. Joining us right now, play-by-play voice television for your Sacramento Kings, also host of the Grant Napear Show with Doug Christie each and every afternoon from 3 to 7. The one, the only, Grant Napear. Hello, Grant.
So are you saying that the Kings should not have traded DeMarcus Cousins?
Good start.
All right. Good talking to you, Grant. We'll see you tomorrow. No, I'm saying that our old friend Chris Granger is out in Detroit, and
Yep.
and as you and I both love him equally, he's awesome, and he is the head of all things Detroit sports. And we were looking at food because I'm kind of a fat guy, Grant, and I love me some food. And they had this egg roll filled with a hot dog and chili, and then deep fried. But
That's disgusting.
But they're saying that they topped it with mustard, and I'm saying I don't think they got it right. I think you top it with cheese, not mustard.
Well, first of all, who would eat that in the first place?
If it was cheese, I mean, I don't know if I'll tell you this much: if I knew I was going to be home within a half an hour, I would eat it.
Oh my gosh!
But
Wow.
I mean, do you have you listen? You grew up going to New York Giants games. You've worked
Yep.
at a ton of games over the years, but I know you also attend ball games as well. Whether it's Yankee Stadium, whether it's Giant Stadium, is there a go-to sports attending food that you love more than anything?
No, when I was growing up and we had season tickets for both the Giants and the Jets, I remember as a kid, I think my dad would give my brother and I $1 each, and that normally would get 2 hot dogs, a soda, and an ice cream throughout the day of a 3-hour football game. And I'm not exaggerating. I believe the hot dogs were 25 cents and drink. It may have been maybe $1.25 but it wasn't much. So I've never eaten fancy food at a sporting event. As a matter of fact, I can't ever remember paying to go to a sporting event and buying anything that's even remotely extravagant. I don't think I've ever done it in my entire life. And by extravagant, I mean anything that's not your basic, hot dog, hamburger,
Sure.
pretzel, ice cream, beer, soda. I don't think I've ever done it. I can't. If I have, it's, I've been to the Super Bowl twice. Again, very basic food I ate there. And I don't know. I think maybe part of the reason is the cost. I just can't get myself to spend that much on a food item at a sporting event. Or it could be just habit. I can't remember ever buying anything that is, as I said, remotely extravagant at a sporting event.
What about the Masters?
No, at the Masters, the food there is extremely basic, dude.
That's my point.
And I had my VIP pass for, that special area. And even back there, I was still ordering pretty, routine food, but that was all free.
That's kind of where, wasn't it last year? You were at was it a year ago?
Yeah, it was last year. Last year on the opening round Masters. Yep, absolutely. So, and again, anyone that ever gets an opportunity to ever get a pass, even if it's for a practice round, I was thinking that in retrospect, it might even be better to be there on a practice round because you can take your camera in and take pictures.
Oh, I didn't know that. You can for that, huh?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh.
Once Thursday begins, you can't even take your cell phone in. You have to check it before you walk into the venue. So, yeah, if you go there on the par 3 or Tuesday on the practice round, you can actually bring your camera in and take pictures. And I was thinking, if I go back again, I would love to go back where I could take pictures.
I just want to go once in my life.
That's all you need to go.
Yep.
And then it's incredible. Just go once. You have to do it. Just doesn't matter what day it is. Just go do it. It's incredible.
Is there anything on your sports bucket list you haven't done, Grant?
Yeah, I want to go to a Saturday night football game in Baton Rouge, and I want to go to a day game at Ole Miss and go check out the Grove. So those are two things that I want to do. I want to go to an SEC game Saturday night, LSU, and I want to go to an Ole Miss game and check out the Grove. I hear it's phenomenal, to see Ole Miss. So those are two of the things I still want to do.
I know for a fact you've knocked out an SEC game on a Saturday night before. Actually, excuse me, that was a Thursday night, I believe, wasn't that?
That was a Thursday night. Yeah, exactly. And you know what?
Auburn.
That was you and I were standing on the sideline of the Kentucky-Auburn game, and that was unbelievably cool. Now, back then, this is when Kentucky was only a basketball school, and I think since then they've done a nice job building up their football program. But that was a great game we were at. That was a 3-point game at the end, wasn't it?
If I remember correctly, we were standing on the sideline just feet away, wasn't it? Was it either Auburn punched through or Kentucky was trying to punch through and didn't? Because I know Kentucky lost, but I believe that was happening like literally 3 feet away from us.
It was incredible. What a phenomenal atmosphere. And again, when you think SEC football, you don't think Kentucky. Can you imagine what a game would be like, at Alabama or at Baton Rouge on a Saturday night, or Georgia, or as great as that was, that's not that.
No.
So
Tallahassee.
I can't even imagine. Right. Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
Let's not get carried away.
I know this. I know there was tailgating at the Kentucky game. I know you and I didn't participate. Of course, we watched only.
That's correct.
That is
we
correct.
Didn't participate.
We did.
Yeah. So it was fun. So hey, all right. So what's your bucket list? What do you have on your sports bucket list that you absolutely have to do?
I did the Super Bowl. I did it once. I'm good. I don't need to do it again. I would say, obviously, I can't say something like Kings in the NBA Finals because that's specialized. But number one on my list, more than anything, is the Masters. That is by far and away number one. And then probably number two, I know you'll be right there with me, Old Trafford in Manchester, England, to go see Manchester United play a team. That would that would probably maybe opening ceremonies at the Olympics, which I'm hoping to do in Japan here in a couple years. But I would say Masters by far number one, and you got to knock that out and then some last year.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're going to go to the Olympics in Japan?
Yeah. I'm going to try to go to the Summer Olympics I've never been to Japan, and I've always wanted to go, and I got some buddies, some mutual friends of yours and mine, as a matter of fact, that are going to go over there. So I'm hoping if I can get permission from Melissa.
You'll do it. Let's go for it. Yeah, that would be incredible to be at the opening ceremonies of the Olympics. I totally agree. That would be absolutely incredible.
The Sacramento Kings will get killed if we don't talk about this. They edged out the Bulls. I don't know, unpopular opinion here, Grant, but in reading the small yet loud minority of fans on social media, they beat the Bulls because they finally got great coaching and the players wanted it more.
Is that right? They didn't beat the Bulls because they're a better team?
Right. No, it was because
gotcha.
The point is that they lost all those Warriors games and the Nuggets game and the two Celtics games because the coaching was terrible and the players just didn't want it.
Well, I haven't heard that as much as you have, but I would just say that you laugh when you read, and the fans sometimes lose their perspective on where this team is, what they are capable of doing, but more importantly, what's realistic. And I've always said, particularly when you get to the All-Star break and you have 25 or 30 games left, night in, night out, the better teams normally win the games because they understand that they got to kick it into overdrive. That's why you don't see the Spurs losing many games now, okay, because they get it, okay? They know that the postseason's coming in. Other than Washington, the Kings have not lost, in my opinion, to a team that they should not have. In other words, the only team that I think the Kings absolutely, when you look back during this streak, that should have beat the Washington Wizards.
Yep.
Every other team they've lost to, and correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm forgetting a team, has been a better team than the Kings. That doesn't mean you can't beat a better team. I mean, the Kings beat Oklahoma City 3 times this year, but you got to be realistic.
You're talking about for the season?
No, I'm talking about since the All-Star break.
I got you. I'm sorry. Okay, so yeah, the Suns and all that there was a couple.
No, I'm talking about the 2 losses to Boston.
Yep.
And I can go right on down the list. The
Sure.
loss at Philadelphia, the loss, the home losses that they lost to on that 1-3 homestand.
Right.
I mean, they lost to teams that were better than them. That doesn't mean that the Clippers are a better team than them.
Right.
I mean, how could anyone say they're not? They have a much better record, and they beat the Kings 4 times. They are a better team, period.
Yep.
The Kings have I don't have a problem with the Kings and what they're doing now, despite the fact that since the All-Star break they have a losing record. They have been unbelievably competitive against teams that are better than they are. Even the road trip, they played Boston right down to the wire. They were very good against Philadelphia, but they're not as good as those teams, so they lost. Why is that so hard for fans to understand?
I have no idea. I understand. It's been, you and I have had a lot of off-air conversations about this, where it's so weird this year that if we had been told that 41 wins, maybe even 42, 43 was in play, as we've said many times, we would have been drug tested in October. Now we're here, and you see, I almost see more people upset at whether it's players or coaches this year than I did last year when this team truly was terrible. And I understand adjusting expectations. I understand not being happy with moral victories and blah, blah, blah. But it baffles me, Grant, when I zoom out and look at this season as a Kings fan, how anyone can't be completely ecstatic.
25 months ago, the Kings made a gigantic deal, and they were ridiculed all over the country for it. And here we are, 2 years removed. The Kings, in all likelihood, are going to win at least half their games, have on their roster right now, I am very comfortable in saying this, multiple All-Stars, okay? There is no doubt in my mind that on the Kings roster right now, there are at least 2 All-Stars in the near future, okay? I believe that they are going to add to their roster this summer a very good player. And I believe, and again, you can't predict injuries, okay? So I'm going to just say, barring injury, I think it's realistic that the Kings can win 50 games next year. That's how optimistic I am. And I've watched this team for 31 years. I've watched the NBA up close and personal. The Kings are on a major upswing. They have big-time talent. They are on their way. I believe that they are very close to being a playoff team for many years to come. What else do we need to talk about, right? I mean, that's how good I think this team is going to be. They are right there.
Somebody said something. I forget the media guy's name, and this is a taboo subject in this town. But somebody tweeted out yesterday, and Grant, I think you responded to it. Forgive me if I'm wrong.
I did.
Who said Marvin Bagley will never be Luka Doncic, and I'm
right.
paraphrasing, but people forgotten about him. He has a great chance of being an amazing player, blah, blah, blah. I took that. I actually tweeted that out, and I took that as maybe the wrong way. I took that as like tremendous praise for Marvin Bagley, and that Bagley will never be Luka, but at the same time, Luka will never be Bagley. We've talked about it before. I'll ask you again. Isn't it quite possible that we're looking at 2 All-Stars in a draft that'll probably have multiple All-Stars who just happen to have different skill sets, and that's as good as that?
Well, I'll just put it to you this way, and I'm going to leave DeAndre Ayton out of it because I don't know the answer to it. Atlanta would still take Trae Young. Dallas would still take Luka Doncic. Sacramento would still take Marvin Bagley. And I think Memphis, safe to say, would still take Jaren Jackson Jr. And, oh, yeah, by the way, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is a starting point guard on a team that's going to win maybe 47 to 48 games and be in the playoffs, and nobody talks about him. It is a tremendous rookie class. It's tremendous. And the Kings got themselves a player that, again, barring injury, is going to be a perennial all-star in this league. I'm very comfortable in saying that. I actually think Marvin Bagley has a chance, and again, assuming that he plays his entire career in Sacramento, I believe that he's talented enough that he has a chance to be, when he's all said and done and retire, as good as any player that's ever worn a Sacramento Kings uniform. That's how good I think he can be. So, all right, let's say I'm wrong, okay, and let's say that he's not the greatest player that the Kings have ever had, but he's a multiple-time All-Star. That's still a really good draft pick. And I don't see any way he's not a multiple-time All-Star. Like, I can't – he just turned 20, and he's already this good. And as Doug Christie said on the radio yesterday, he doesn't even know how to play the NBA game yet.
Sure.
Just watch this kid. And I will say this about Luka. Luka is going to be the Rookie of the Year. I predicted he would be Rookie of the Year before the season began. I'm not so sure that Luka has that much more room for improvement. I really believe that Luka right now is as good as he's going to get, and that's still pretty good. But I've said this, and I'm on the record, and I don't have any problem saying this. I believe that when both careers are done, you will look back and say Marvin Bagley was the better NBA player, and I'm sticking to that. There's nothing that I've seen this year that would make me change my opinion on that.
I hope you're right. Grant Napear joining us. Grant, going into, we're not there yet, and I'm sure we'll have a season wrap-up together, but am I missing anything here? Vlade Divac is going to have a very interesting summer, and this is in no order of importance, but I've got four big decisions he's got to make. Signing his own extension, what to do with the coach and an extension, free agent center, free agent backup point guard. Am I missing anything?
No, and I think you went right in the order. I mean, he's got to get a new deal first. I mean, that's first and foremost.
Sure.
Then he has to decide how he's going to handle the coach and a possible extension. And then I think that the Kings will have they have some money. We don't know what Harrison Barnes is going to do yet, so we have to remember that.
True.
But I'm with you all along. I think the four things you said are spot on. But the first thing that has to happen is Vlade Divac has to get a new contract. He has said, and he's been very consistent, he didn't want to talk about it during the year. He didn't want to interfere with anything that was going on. It wasn't important during the year, and that all of these things could be addressed when the season was over. So, but that to me, that's the first thing. And I can't imagine him not getting a new deal. Like that would shock me. And I would think it would have to happen fairly soon after the season, because once April 10th comes and goes, then it's right back to work. You know, you got to figure out, okay, what are you going to do with Willie? What do you think is going to happen with Harrison Barnes? Who are you going to target in free agency? And, oh, yeah, by the way, you know, you have an entire coaching staff that is entering the final year of the deal. So there's a lot of work to be done, and it has to be done soon.
You can hear Grant Napear afternoons 3 to 7 with Doug Christie. You'll also be able to hear and see him tonight. Pregame 6:30-ish, tip-off 7 o'clock. We'll, of course, have that coverage, too, here on KHTK with Gary Gerald. Have a great call tonight. Hopefully we get a Kings win, and I will see you at Golden One tomorrow. So
that was a good trade that the Kings made 2 years ago, right?
I'll tell you this much. I'll tell you.
I love when you, dude. I love when I can get you to pause, because when I can get you to pause,
Grant,
that is just the best thing in the world.
We got to go to break, and now you're going to make him go off on this. This is unbelievable.
Can I tell you this? I think it'd be an even. Hey, I think it'd be an even better trade if we re-signed him this summer. Is that fair?
You got a better chance of being re-signed to, you would have a better chance of being the Kings starting center next year.
I'll see you.
And you're not in great shape right now,
That's
and you
true.
would still have a better chance of being the 5-man.
That is Grant Napear. Pause is all around. We'll be texting off air, and I'm sure we won't be able to read those on the air. Thank you, buddy. I'll talk to you soon. Take care. We'll take a break. Wish I had a arm monitor, a blood pressure monitor on me for that, a pulse monitor on me for that. It would just look like a giant arrow pointing up when we get back. I got him to pause too, though. Let's be clear.
You did. That was good.
When we
did you hear him try and hit the quick? Like, I'm not pausing.
That's a pause.
It's time to head to Togo's for their original turkey and avocado with a large drink, just $5.95.
If you don't like that, you don't like pauses. Cold Hard Facts brought to you by Coors Light, and our thanks to Grant Napear. Coming up next, Sports 1140 KHTK.
The least professional show in the entire station, and they'd like to apologize. for absolutely nothing. The Drive continues now.
Not apologizing for anything.
I'll apologize for some things.
Vontez Burfict has been fined $469,000 since 2012. Second on the list, Ndamukong Suh with $289.
Look at third on the list.
Deshaun Goldson at
49ers
$253.
legend.
Then Marshawn Lynch at $48. Vontez Burfict on his way reportedly to go meet with the Raiders, because of course he is. Or should I say because of course they are.
Like, we'll get a Vontez Burfict jersey to hang up in the studio.
Raider Nation. It fits the mold.
Just win, baby. All these people are calling in right now for Eric Church tickets. I'm giving them away for another 30 seconds. 8:35. You can win a pair of tickets to see both days of the Eric Church Double Down Tour when he comes to Golden One Center for his epic two-night experience on November 22nd and 23rd.
And I do hope that these people on the line understand that you're going to clear the lines, correct?
Yep.
So everybody on the line right now is calling in early. Oh, hold on here. Hello, who's this?
Michael.
Michael, you calling in for the tickets?
Yeah.
Nah, man, you're early.
Oh, man.
All right. I mean, I want him to win. Guys, don't.
Hey, now I'll take a caller. There they are. Hey,
right.
We got a winner.
Just don't cheat.
All right, yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Cheater.
That'd be cheater,
Pumpkin eaters, pumpkin eaters.
Ticket eater.
Cheater, pants on fire.
I think it would be hilarious if the same guy called back and won. That quick. We got to get the Coors Light cold hard facts while Kyle is taking care of the winner. And you can go ahead and do that, Kyle. I would like to, I do this every year. 7th anniversary of this.
And patience, and use that passion in the right direction. This thing is going in the right way. I've got great confidence in Joe, Mark Jackson, and everything will work out just fine. Just a little bit of patience. Use that passion.
That's Chris Mullen at his retirement.
Monte.
That's Chris Mullen at his retirement ceremony 7 years ago at Snorkel Arena, trying to defend Joe Lacob, who had just made a controversial trade with, or been a part of the controversial trade, trading Monte Ellis. People were booing Joe Lacob off the floor. Chris Mullen was defending him.
Hey,
Here's Rick
one
Barry.
second here. Come on, people. You fans are the greatest fans in the world. As everybody said that. Show a little bit of class. This is a man that I've spent some time talking to. He is going to change this franchise. This is crazy. Seriously. Come on. You're doing yourself a disservice. All of the wonderful accolades being said to you, for you to treat this man who is spending his money to do the best that he can to turn this franchise around, and I know he's going to do it. So give him the respect he deserves.
Why do I play that? Why every year do I play the tape of Joe Lacob, Warriors owner, being booed off the floor, having Chris Mullen, whose jersey was being retired, having Rick Barry, who's always great with people, coming on and chastising the fans for booing Lacob off the floor. I play that because 7 years later, Golden State Warriors have won 3 of 4 championships. They're about to win 4 of 5. They're about to go back to back to back. I play that because as a Kings fan, that's where I want to be. And I was thinking about this during the break when I saw that this was the 7-year anniversary. Kyle, we got to get the Coors Light cold hard fact here. Would the DeMarcus Cousins trade be the Joe Lacob moment for this franchise? Would that be the moment where Vivek Ranadive or Vlade Divac had gone on the floor a week later to retire somebody's?
This was such a unique thing though. Because
was DeMarcus or Monte Ellis in this scenario?
Yeah, because it was really clear that, at least it's clear in retrospect, because there was a Monte Steph debate. That was a debate 7 years ago. Because Curry, there were questions about whether he could stay healthy. That's why his contract extension was so cheap.
Yep, those ankles.
There were questions about whether his ankles could stay healthy, and Monte, the Warriors were terrible for so long, and Monte had hit some game winners, and he was exciting. He was like a quintessential Warrior, and so the idea of him being traded was something that Warriors fans at the time couldn't fathom, because it was like, dude, that was our most exciting player. What are you doing? But obviously, they were seeing that Steph Curry was putting together a Hall of Fame career if he was healthy. And they did that. And everybody forgets Ekpe Udoh also got dealt in that trade, and that was what was heartbreaking to me. I was a big Ekpe Udoh
Big
guy.
Ekpe Udoh guy. From the 916, Dave, you would have been the only one booing. Yes, I would have been the only one booing after the DeMarcus Cousins trade. You nailed it.
The other thing is, it was very, because you know the mantra that you have and that Kings fans have of like, well, this is going to go wrong.
Yeah, God hates Kings fans.
Right, and that's how it was with the Monte deal. It's like, oh, great, so they're going to trade Monte, and Steph is never going to be healthy, and Andrew Bogut is never healthy. That's who they got back in that trade. It's like, great, just more decades of being awful.
And Andrew Bogut, 7 years later, still playing for the Warriors.
Still here.
From the 916. Dave, did you say Rick Barry is always good with people? Yes, I'm glad somebody
He
caught
did
that.
say that.
Coors Light Cold Hard Fact right now.
It's time for the Coors Light Cold Hard Fact of the Day. Here's Kyle Madsen.
Hello, Kyle.
The San Antonio Spurs beat the Warriors last night.
They did.
It was their 42nd win of the year.
It was.
That makes 22 consecutive seasons.
Yeah.
With a winning record.
Yep.
Which is preposterous.
I saw a stat
Crab rangoons, things of that nature.
last night, kind of on to your point. Since 1997, the San Antonio Spurs, I believe, I'm doing this off of memory, have been under 500 for 65 days. To put that in perspective, I want to say that the second lowest team was the Houston Rockets, and they were over 1,000.
Jeez. Yeah, the Rockets have like a bunch of consecutive years of being over 500, I think. Or no, the Thunder do. I think the Thunder are at like 10.
I can tell you as of 4 months ago, because I can't find the stat right now, the Spurs had been under 500 for 48 days. Because they had a couple days, they had a few, obviously, since 97. 48 days. The Mavs, 937. The Rockets, 989. The Trailblazers, 1,044. And the Jazz, 1,056. The Mavs have been under 500 most of the year. They're over 1,000. And I think the Rockets were under 500 for more than 11 days. So that's right. The second lowest team has been under 500 for over 1,000 days since 97. The Spurs, 65.
And I wonder how many of those were like lost game one.
Right.
Just insane. Two more real quick.
Yeah.
Well, one more because I know you wanted to do the one about Steph Curry's 60-footers.
Yeah.
Andre Drummond recorded his 12th game of the season last night. He had 20 points and 20 rebounds. It was his 12th 2020 game of the year.
Jeez.
The rest of the East has 11 combined.
That's insane. And what did I see? Was it with Giannis Antetokounmpo scoring 52? I think that's 6 players this year.
More than that.
8?
I think it's like 12.
Is it that have scored 50 or more? And James Harden has 6 of them?
James Harden's done it 6 times. 11 or 12 different players have done it.
All right, we'll take a break. I'll come back with that highlight, or that stat, I should say. Steph Curry tied the record for most three-pointers beyond 50 feet, I think, over the last 20 years. You're not going to believe who he tied with. And also, I do want to get to this Raiders award they got for the Khalil Mack trade and the UFC ESPN deal as well. So we got a lot to pack in. What's on tap? Sports 1140 KHTK.
It's the end of the show, but it's the start of your workday. For a cold one, it's What's on Tap. Here's What's on Tap.
What's on tap? Brought to you by
Headphone ear covers because mine keep falling off.
Headphone ear covers. Well, just get yourself some in-ear headphones and you won't have that problem, much like I do. Headphone covers. Don't get yours today. Want to thank Fire Wings for sponsoring our phone line at 1-800-920-1140. As always, 21 different flavors to choose from. Firewings.com. Just wing it. What's on tap tonight? Nets visit Sacramento, take on our Sacramento Kings. Pre-game 6:30, tip-off at 7, right here on the Sporty 1140. The line on that game we told you earlier was the Sacramento Kings by 4.5. That is now down to 3.5. Kings favored by 3.5 in this matchup. Kyle, Steph Curry, in a losing effort last night, made a very, very long shot to end, was it the half? First quarter? This is how it happened.
Steph from three-quarter court, and he banked it in! He banked it in, he got it off in time, and hit it from 75 feet.
Dude, that was a peak Fitz call because he's like, from 75 feet. He was at the opposite 3-point. It's 61 feet.
Not even
That's 14 feet.
I'm not even laughing at that.
It's not even close.
But we have a term in this business called pukey. When you puke out the microphone, it sounds like this. Play that Fitz call again, would you? That was pukey.
Steph from three-quarter court, and he banked it in! He banked it in, he got it off in time, and hit it from 75 feet.
It's like a bad Harry Carey impression.
It totally was. Now listen.
He got it off in time.
Fitz is doing play-by-play for, world champion Golden State Warriors, and I'm doing this. So, granted, but come on. Wow.
And Fitz has been the Warriors play-by-play guy for like 25 years.
Right. Anyways, that was a 60-foot buzzer beater, his fourth career field goal from 50 feet plus, including the playoffs. Over the last 20 seasons, that ties him
Can I guess?
You know.
I'm going to guess wrong on purpose.
Okay, go ahead.
Russell Westbrook.
No.
Brandon Roy.
No. Too soon.
Reggie Miller.
Reggie Miller. No.
Klay Thompson.
Nope. Good guess, though.
Thanks. It's Ray Allen.
Zach Randolph. What?
Well, that's got to be wrong.
Zach Randolph.
Zebo, just bucket getter from 50.
What? That's the problem. We had Zach Randolph taking threes last year.
Yep. Hey, you thought he couldn't space the floor? You just weren't thinking hard enough.
2019 Sloan Sports Analytics Conference.
Can you imagine Zebo just spotting up at the opposite
all day long?
line? He's like, yeah, I'm open.
I mean, record holder. The Sloan Conference, which you guys mostly know for NBA stuff. On Monday, they gave the Oakland Raiders the award for Best Transaction after sending Khalil Mack and a second-round pick to the Bears in exchange for 2 first-round picks, a third-round pick, and a sixth-round pick. This wasn't a joke. And it doesn't matter that the Raiders have yet to make any selections with the pick, or that Mack had almost as many sacks, 12.5, as the entire Raiders team did in 2018, 13. The analytics community believes the Raiders were the clear winners of the trade. Daryl Morey, the GM of the Houston Rockets and the founder of the conference, told The Athletic, quote, he'll be rooting for the Raiders this season. Everybody else thought it was a terrible trade, but draft picks are very valuable. Analytics tend to fly in the face of popular convention pretty often. We don't care about what people say. When he called Raiders president Mark Bedane to inform him of the win, Bedane didn't believe him. Quote, I had to tell him several times that I wasn't kidding. I guess they took a lot of heat for that. Okay. I wasn't joking. The Raiders got the award, and maybe they're right. I hope they are. Unless they sign Vontaze Burfict. If the Raiders sign Vontaze Burfict, I got a lot of thinking to do. First off, I don't even know. Is it official? Are we carrying them this year?
I have no idea.
I don't either.
That is above your pay grade. So it's
really,
definitely
really
above mine.
I'm basically going to go into our boss's office.
Jay, do you know?
No idea.
If they do sign Vontaze, I'm going to have to go into our boss's office and be like, tell me what the line is. Because that's where I'm standing.
Tiptoeing it. You might even dip one toe over it.
How far can I go in my ridicule and hatred of this move? My God. From the 530, What's on Tap, brought to you by Elote. It's nice.
Ooh.
Do you like corn on the cob but want it with some Mexican flair? Grab some Elote today. Oh, give me some of that.
Have you seen the I'm not gonna the Copa de Diversión that minor league teams do?
No.
Where they do the like Spanish team names?
Oh, yeah. I've
One
seen.
team becomes elote.
Oh, I love them.
And their hat is an elote.
Elote is phenomenal. With the mayo and you put the cheese on there, the cotija cheese.
I'm not a big mayo guy, but that's one instance that I will rock with some
chili
mayo.
powder.
Yeah.
Not a well-known fact, and will bring lots of hate to me. I haven't been everywhere in Mexico, but I've been to a few places in Mexico on both coasts. The elote here is better than the elote in Mexico.
Interesting.
It's a different type of corn. It's a chewier, more. It's just a different corn down there than up here.
It's time to head to Togo's for their original turkey and avocado with a large drink for just $5.95.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah. 90 seconds. Dang it. All right. Tomorrow on the program, I'm going to talk about this UFC ESPN deal. This has been in my craw all morning.
UFC ESPN?
Because I think, and apologies to my old friend Dana White, I think the UFC is ripe for the picking right now. I think this is a horrific decision made by them. A horrific decision. And I'm going to explain tomorrow why I've never said this before. A lot of people have. I think the UFC is in serious trouble right now. And if somebody's smart and does it right, they're going to have some serious problems on their hands. So I'll go into detail on that tomorrow. Also, we'll talk more about your brackets. We'll have the results of the Kings and Nets game. That's coming up tonight, 6:30 pregame, 7 o'clock tip, right here on the Sporty 1140. For Jay Morris in Behind the Glass, making it happen, Kyle Madsen and myself. We'll see you tomorrow at, what is that, 25 seconds? Ah, damn it, Kyle. I thought I had like 10 seconds.
I give you indicators.
Yeah, but they're weird indicators.
No, but I usually give you like 30 seconds, and then I'll hold up 10.
And then it jumped. Jay Mars does a fantastic job. Go to KH2K.com for the video stream. Also YouTube. Kyle Madsen is terrible. I'm Carmichael Dave. We'll see you tomorrow at 6 a.m. right here on Sports 1140 KH2K. Bye-bye now.